In this episode of Texposed, we're taking a look at the St. Brown podcast hosted by Amon-Ra St. Brown and his brother EQ. If you're not familiar with them, they are both NFL pro athletes. Now, Amon-Ra probably is the more popular one only because his team is doing very well over the last couple seasons here. But together as brothers, this is pretty cool to see them host their own podcast show. So let's dive into their setup. Now, as we first take a look here, we see that they have a two-person virtual setup, so they're not actually in the same location. And so in order to pull this off, there's a lot of different softwares you can use. I'm leaning towards thinking they're using the Riverside platform just because it is very simple to create these graphics the way that they're being shown here on screen. We see that around Amon-Ra, we have that blue color scheme with the curvature in the design, so it's not a flat design around their profiles. And on the other side here on EQ side, we have like this more tan color here. I think Amon-Ra's probably got the blue because he plays for the Detroit Lions and using that same color scheme. And then here on the top left hand side, we see the St. Brown podcast, so we have the nice branding here. Now, we do see in this video that they do a couple of different shots. They do this two-person shot, and then they also bring in a guest later on in this video where they have a three-person shot in the entire video. So if I scroll ahead here, we can see that now they've taken that two-part screen and divided it into three equal sections. And again, using a platform like Riverside makes it easy to bring in virtual guests and change the layouts, and you're not doing a whole bunch of manual fixing and tweaking to try to create something that looks this good and is very simple to actually do. Now I want to go to their solo profile setups here in the video, and let's take a look at these individually. Now for this first one, Amon-Ra is definitely sitting in a what we call a bland type of background here, so not a lot going on here, just a lot of this brown amber color here. So I'm not guessing that there's professional lighting going on here. So even if we take a look at the couch itself, it's like this white color that blends in directly with the walls. There's not a lot of color going on here except for the lamp that's sitting here in the background. Now, the lamp is a nice little accent piece because it does divide up the background. If we were using a proper lighting technique in this setup, that lamp would actually make this whole setup look pretty good. So similar to how my setup is here, I have professional lighting in front of me and the lamp is an accent in the background to kind of create that depth of field and that separation. So definitely would recommend, if he was going to level up the production look of this, definitely go in and put in something here on the wall. Let's modify this background a little bit here, and even the couch here. Maybe it's really just a repositioning of the camera. In a lot of cases, simply changing the location of the camera and where you're sitting in front of it can do a world of difference. So that is his first setup here. Now, I'm going to guess that he's going to be using audio-wise a Shure microphone, and we'll get to that here as we scroll across here, because I do want to show you his brother's first, because it is easy to identify that his brother is using a Shure microphone here, and they're probably using the exact same one if I were to guess, just because of that wind muff that's on the front. It looks very similar. So what I like about this microphone is the fact that the back of this microphone has a couple different connection options. You have an XLR connection option that is going to be used for you to plug directly into an audio interface and have some controls on that audio interface of how you want to tweak the sound. And you also have a USB port. In this case, he is using the USB port because it's the easiest one to use and it's going to give you that same quality of audio. So the USB can just go directly into a laptop just like this. One cable from the back of the microphone into the laptop, good to go. Now, there is another port back here that's not being used, and that's the headphone jack. Now, if you see, both of the brothers are wearing wired headphones here. So I love the fact they're wearing wired headphones here. Look like Apple headphones, so nothing crazy fancy, right? But in a perfect world, they could actually just plug those headphones into the back of the microphone. And when you're in an application like a Riverside or a Zoom or Google Meet, you use the microphone as your microphone input, and your microphone as your headphone output as well, because everything is running through that microphone. So it's just a lot easier to just troubleshoot if you come across any audio issues. You know everything is running through your microphone, right? So wired headphones, love it. And using high quality audio, I love that as well. Now for his solo setup here, we see that he has a little bit more going on here in the background. Now, we've talked about this in a previous video, is that those windows in a back of a room, right? So back here we see that he has windows on that left side and on the right side of his setup. What I like about these windows is the fact that they're covered up, and it even looks like he's using like blackout curtains so that you're not having that washout of light coming in from the back. You want the light to shine from the front and not come in from the back, because it'll create a look that you definitely don't want on camera. So he does have that going on. That's a positive when it comes to the lighting. His face is nicely lit here, so it's clear. We can see him. That's a good thing. You always want to be seen on camera. Now, we also have a little bit of color coming from the TV here. So what I like about LED light strips on the back of a TV is they give a little color. So you typically can change these to any color that accents what you want to go for, the look that you want. So that's a pretty good, easy way to add a little bit more color into a setup, is hiding your lights. So these are literally just hidden LED strips behind the TV. Now, if we wanted to continue that green theme, we could actually take this plant and slide it over here to this blank space on that wall. I think that would create a little bit more dynamic here as well. That plant is kind of hidden with the blackout curtain, so it's a little bit harder to see it, but big proponent of having a plant in your videos. Just having it positioned where you can actually see it would probably be a better look here on this particular setup. Now, being that these are home setup podcasts, you see those home elements, and back here looks like a gaming table. So a little bit of fun, showing the personality here in this setup. Overall, really like this one. Again, it's a two-person setup where the conversation has multiple people talking. This particular podcast now, at the time of this recording, has over 200,000 subscribers to it. So definitely take a look in the description of this video to learn more about their podcast and to check out some of the equipment that they're using, and I'll link to that below if you want to learn more about that. This has been the St. Brown Podcast Techsposing. Let me know in the comment section who is the next channel that I should Techspose. And if you're not already subscribed, now is a great time to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.